It was a big weekend for the Phillies catchers, especially JT Realmuto, Garrett Stubbs. The Phillies offense got clicking, and they were able to close out the road series 500, winning the series against the Kansas City Royals, and now heading back to face the Astros. We're previewing all that and more here on PHLY Phillies podcast coming up. What a weekend for the Phillies. The offense got clicking in games 2 and 3 of the series versus the Royals, and we finally are starting to feel like things might be getting better. Welcome into PHLY Phillies podcast. Today's show presented by Bet365. You can download the Bet365 app and use code PHLY365 when you sign up and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. We've got Tyler Zulli, Jamie Lynch, myself, Renee Washington, coming off of the road trip. The Phillies returned back 500 on the road trip, which as of how it started, I think I will actually take that, guys, especially with how it finished. 11 runs scored in the second and third games each. The Phillies turned their offense around. It was nice to see the bats finally get going. We got breakout performances. We'll break down the numbers. We also had the chance to see the return of Ranger Suarez, who is celebrating a birthday today. As well.
Him and Ricky Vitalico, birthday buddies.
Exactly. So Ranger Suarez turns 29 today, math. And then also Kolby, Allard. We'll recap all that happened this weekend, as well as what went down around the league, because there's some guys out there smashing baseballs. Aaron Judge, we're looking at you. And we'll talk through some more as we preview what's coming up. But Jamie, I feel like how the weekend started, and you guys, of course, you and Tyler had the post-game show, so we don't have to really go back.
We'll shit on Taijuan Walker today. Don't worry about that.
I mean, how the weekend started versus how it ended, night and day. Fantastic turnaround when you look at the frustrations of everything in the 7-4 loss on Friday, from Taijuan Walker to the offense, just the Phillies continuing to struggle. And then for them to get going, breakthrough Saturday and Sunday, felt like a good weekend.
Yeah,
overall.
I think after that Atlanta series, a 3-3 road trip is absolutely something everybody would have signed up for. The most important thing was that they got 45 hits in this series.
Oh, yeah.
And after Friday night, where the offense, it wasn't like their worst night ever, but they did still struggle some, especially the top of the order. On a night where Taijuan went out and threw batting practice to the Royals. That was very nice of him. The bats just erupted this weekend, and 45 hits on the road in a series in a huge ballpark, getting some home runs in there, some JT, no doubt about them.
Oh, yeah.
Was a really, really encouraging thing to see. I'm not going to go ahead and declare them back yet, Renee, because as we've talked about before, we've seen flashes of them turning it around, and then they kind of retract again. So huge opportunity returning back to South Philadelphia with the Astros and Braves coming to town. So I'm not going to say they're back yet, but that was certainly larger than a baby step in the right direction.
I think they're back. But happy Monday, guys. K-Red, Frank Barber, Chris Lummer, Ray, everybody in the chat on Twitter, YouTube, those tuned in on Roku, anybody that's tuned in later watching us back on podcast platforms and YouTube. It does feel like, I know in the chat you guys are a lot more optimistic today. I felt like this was a huge, small step to just kind of take some of the pressure off when you look at this past weekend, because as you mentioned, the turnaround in that Braves series, which we remember the offensive struggles. The Phillies struck out 32 times against the Braves. They scored a total of 6 runs in those 3 games, which is wild because they were able to hold the Braves to 3 or less runs in every single game. They had 0 home runs in the 3-game series. And then against Kansas City, big turnaround. They struck out less, 24 times, and most importantly, scored 26 runs with 3 home runs. And as you mentioned, the offense, every starter gets a hit on Sunday. 16 hits on the day Sunday. Saturday was similar, where you go through pretty much everybody except, Alec Boehm got a hit. Great to see the way that their offense finally was able to deliver. I mean, we talked about it. You're not scoring runs. You're not winning games if you're not getting hits. You can't have these stretches where you're just going through inning after inning, zeros across the board, 1, 2, 3 innings, not getting good at having good at bats, a little bit undisciplined, a little bit of just kind of getting caught in their own heads. And I know Rob Thompson was mentioning how, he was talking specifically about Alec Boehm after that play that Alec Boehm had Sunday in the first inning.
After the brain fart? Yeah.
But I think it definitely applies to the entire team of like what his saying and his motto is, and just wanting everybody to just get lost in the team, to just do whatever they've got to do to help the team win, whether it's playing good defense, getting on base, running the base as well, backing a bases, just getting lost in the team. And he was speaking specifically about Alec Boehm. But when you look at the Phillies, Saturday and Sunday was more of that. Just going out playing. Obviously, JT's 3-run homer opened things up and was a huge relief because they were 0 for 19 prior.
Man, he walloped that
huge opportunity there. And then to have a chance to win the series, that's 3 series the Phillies have won since the All-Star break. And one of those was the Dodgers, one was the Nationals, and then the Royals. So to finally get another series win, to finally jump out, get the offense going, get the run support for your starting pitchers in Ranger and Kolby, it did start to feel like they're back.
They're getting there.
They're getting there. They're crawling.
Well, I think JT, you can say, is back. Tyler and I talked about him on Friday night. We're like, man, he's starting to square up some balls again. After the game, he talked to T-Mac and somebody else, or maybe it was the radio crew, I forget who, and he said, I feel like my timing is just about back. I feel like I'm comfortable in the box again. So that was really encouraging, and I think he's now turned the corner off of the injury, coming and returning. So that's a really, really good thing to see. Bryce Harper got a hit in each game, 2 in one of them. So that's a really encouraging thing to see. Hopefully he's coming out of, whatever injury or fatigue was plaguing him. So, like those are 2 of the most important things. Kyle Schwarber as well. Looks like he's giving you good at bats. So it looks like the heart of the order, what basically dictates how the Phillies go: Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, JT Realmuto, and Trey Turner. Everything else is kind of like white noise. I mean, pitching is important. I meant offensively speaking only. Like, great weekend from Marsh. Good to see that.
Yeah.
Stubbs isn't going to play in the playoffs, so I don't get too excited about that.
No.
But the big money core of this team, hopefully, is coming back to South Philadelphia with their stuff figured out, and we can see some good offensive baseball again. Yeah,
and it's exactly what we've been talking about. You need guys like JT to be able to help contribute. 2 for 4 on Friday, and then turns around and with that 7 RBI game. That was the first multi-home run game for JT since September 14, 2022. And he joined some great company. Jamie, I know you're excited about the name that he joined because with that 7 RBIs on the day, he ties the franchise record for most RBIs in a single game by a catcher, joining
7. I'm sorry, repeat that again.
I know you were so distracted by you and Tyler having a moment.
Pete LaCock joking.
I know. JT, 7 RBIs, tied a franchise record for most in a single game by a catcher.
Mike Lieberthal.
No,
Darren Dalton.
I can't believe you're missing this. Yes! I thought it was an easy hint when I said your guy.
Yeah.
He tied Chooch for the single game record of most RBIs for a catcher with the Phillies. It was great. Friday, Saturday, as you mentioned, JT does look like he's back. And we knew it would take him time coming out of getting that knee procedure done. And he was mentioning after the game Saturday how he just started to feel better, started to feel like he was making good swing decisions.
Hello, Anthony.
They're back, baby.
Hopefully.
They're back. Anthony Gargano said they're back.
Yeah.
But JT was saying how he felt like he was making good swing decisions, not chasing for the most part, and he just has to continue doing that. And that's something that all the Phillies have to get back to. We saw Trey Turner break through. We saw, Kyle Schwarber's been doing well. Nick Castellanos has as well, but we're getting more production. So I was thrilled to see JT have that 7 RBI day, 2 3-run homers, get a nice day off Sunday. And then Garrett Stubbs, as you mentioned, he's not going to be in the playoffs, but who would have had on their bingo card for any point of the season, let alone this stretch of the season, that we'd be looking at the Phillies going for another cycle and it being Garrett Stubbs. Like, we had Weston Wilson's cycle not too long ago, and here we are. Garrett Stubbs was on the doorsteps, did not get the home run for it, but I think he did a solid job, and that's all you need from Garrett Stubbs. He's Mr. Vibes, and clearly the vibes have been off, so give us something because you haven't been doing your job in the clubhouse with the playlists, apparently, and he was able to go out there Sunday and do well. But
with 7 career home runs, I didn't like his odds of getting a home run there, but it does feel like the Royals just threw up a position player to go hit him.
Yeah.
He did say, and I watched the post-game interview with Ruben and T-Mac, they were like, why were you standing so much up on the plate? Was that something that was a conscious effort, something you saw? And he was like, oh, it's funny you say that. I didn't even realize I was doing it until my third at bat. And then I thought, well, it's been successful, so I might as well stick with it. And I think the Royals came in and, with 58-mile-an-hour pitches coming his way, I think they went, this guy's standing on the plate after going 3 for 3. Screw him. So I think they just plunked him on purpose there. But pretty funny.
Well, yeah, it was very funny. Of course,
I didn't like his odds to actually hit a home run there.
Yeah, oh my God, I know. That would have been hilarious.
It would have been good.
But in natural fashion, we get a career night for JT Realmuto, and then Garrett Stubbs turns around and has a career night of his own. That's a career high, 4 hits in a game, as he also drove in a run. It was a solid day for Garrett Stubbs, and it wouldn't be a Garrett Stubbs day without him rounding the bases for a triple, or just rounding the bases in general, and his helmet falling off. And at one point, I was keeping track of that. I stopped keeping track because it's every time. Every time he runs the bases, that's his thing. The helmet goes flying, the locks go blowing in the breeze, and that's classic Garrett Stubbs for you. But it was nice to see him have his best game ever. So,
yes.
like, great to see him get that career high. And listen, it's nice that we're talking about the Phillies finally getting back to having different players step up and contribute. You see Johan Rojas coming as a pinch runner. You see Kyle Schwarber just continuing to be great in the leadoff spot and continuing to be top of the order, starting off things. He drives Garrett Stubbs in. Overall, he was one that I was also really excited about for the weekend that he had because he sets the tone. He's the guy that when they've talked about it before, steps up to start a game, they have the mentality of like, we're already up 1-0 whenever Kyle Schwarber is leading off. Now, for him to have this past weekend and go through, we saw the 2 hits, 2 runs on Sunday. And as he finished with 3 RBIs on that day, also a couple of hits and a run scored Saturday. Kyle Schwarber is exactly what you need right now from one of your leaders. And it's good to see him, Trey breaking through, my goodness. He seems like he's also working out of his slump and getting back. He was talking post game about how he just, was so excited, so locked in, and how he's just like, in time, we got this. In time, we'll be fine. And so I love seeing like these moments because they need this. They need to get the consistent confidence back up to where it was pre-All-Star break.
Yeah, and Trey said it's weird that we all went through this at the same time. Thank you for acknowledging how weird it was.
Yeah, thanks for saying the obvious.
Yeah, because we have eyeballs and we've watched baseball for a long time in this town. Yes, it was very strange. And hopefully, it's about to turn to September. Hopefully the offensive woes are behind them now and they're all coming out of it. And, coming back home, you really want to see that translate back to Citizens Bank Park, especially with the series at hand here coming up because the Braves are a pain in the ass. And, the Houston Astros just continue to be the Houston Astros. They're a damn vampire that will never die. And their division leads up to 4.5 games. So a really good test with, Justin Verlander's back. You get Ronel Blanco tonight. And then Spencer Arrighetti was one of their top prospects that came up this year. So, if you wanted to be tested, you want to keep it rolling? Well, you got a great opportunity with Zach Wheeler on the mound back home starting tonight. So, if they take game 1, Renee, I'll be itching to say they're back. But it would be nice to see a game 1 victory at home.
It would be very nice to see a game 1 victory. I'm not even there yet mentally because I still want to talk about some more.
We have a lot to recap, including my sweet boy Ranger.
Oh yeah, but it is when we are looking ahead to the start of this series. that is something that we need to see from the Phillies because they have struggled.
Got to keep it going.
This past weekend was another series. You dropped game 1, and now you have to come out and win the next 2 games. And yes, they went out and put up 11 runs each game. Yes, we saw the production was there. We got more than just Nick Castellanos and Alec Boehm contributing. And I also just enjoyed something I want to make note of, going back to Alec Boehm, actually, after that first inning mistake. I know there was a piece put out about, and the interview with Rob was discussing how Rob, in that moment, didn't want to, typical Rob, he's not going to go make a rash decision and yank Boehm or yell at him or anything because that's not Rob Thompson. But
he didn't
with
talk
that,
to him.
He didn't. Yeah, they did have a conversation.
They had a conversation.
And did talk through like how this cannot happen and you cannot do that
Boehm
again.
has a lot of friends and family there because this is the first time he's played in Kansas City. So
exactly.
It's basically a home game for him.
Correct.
So I'm sure Rob, being the emotional, intelligent manager that he is, did not want to bench Boehm in front of them. So it's, like,
not to mention,
come here, buddy. Let me talk to you for a second.
That's not Rob's style anyways. He doesn't get too high or too low. He's not one that'd be like, how the hell could you do that? He's not going to lay into you. And Boehm had a very bad mental mistake there, unaware of the outs. And so Rob did talk to him and then was saying he decided to keep him in the game because he is one of the better players on the team. And he was saying how after he spoke with him, you just got to wake up or we're going to do something else is what he kind of led with. It's that like, it's okay, but don't do this again. Yeah. And so then to see Boehm go on and get 3 RBIs, a walk on the day, and go 2 for 4, that's the response you need. So this team is getting back to responding. That is something we talked about earlier this season. They'd give up a run, they'd respond. They'd have a bad play or a mistake, they'd respond. And it was now the Royals that were the ones making mistakes. I mean, JT's 3-run homer, what leads to that is the Royals have a couple botched.
Was that the one that it bounced on the grass line of the dirt? I've never seen a ball carom like that.
It was like back to back.
What's his name? Massey, the second baseman.
Massey just
the first one was his fault. The second one was, I almost felt bad for the guy because the ball hit the lip and then shot like a totally different angle. It was pretty weird. But to your point, some good luck went the Phillies' way, and sometimes that can snap you out of it.
And that's something that they had prior, where they were getting the lucky bounces, the luck their way, and responding well to adversity or any sort of mistakes. And so it was good to see them this weekend, even, of course, aside from scoring 22 runs, be able to respond, show up, have a pulse, make a mistake and bounce back from it and not let it like spiral into something else.
Yeah, it was good to see some luck go their way. And you know where luck hopefully will go your way?
There you go.
That's with our friends over at Bet365, because it's never ordinary at Bet365. And the college football season kicked off this past weekend. NFL is right around the corner. And right now, new users can get $150 in bonus bets when you sign up using the promo code PHLY365 on sign up. For you YouTube viewers, there's a easy little QR code for you. But just download the app, add that PHLY365, deposit $10, lose your first $5 wager, and you'll get $150 in bonus bets. I did that and applied my $150 to NFL futures bets. But one of the best things about Bet365 and why it's never ordinary is their early payout offers. Because across baseball, basketball, hockey, and football, there is a predetermined set mark. And if your team reaches that, like in baseball, if your team goes up 5 runs at any point, Saturday or Sunday, the Phillies go up 5 runs and you bet them, well, you get an early cash out right then and there. And if you got that Saturday, you could have, taken those winnings and rolled it right into the Nevada SMU late night Saturday college football action. But there's over 780,000 events on Bet365 each year, and they pioneered live in-game betting, and that's why it's never ordinary at Bet365. So download the Bet365 app, use that code PHLY365 when you sign up, and check out our booths and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and located in the state of Pennsylvania. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, you can call or text 1-800-GAMBLER.
And as we're talking through all the excitement of finally seeing the Phillies getting back to playing good baseball on both sides of the ball, there's another place you can get both of all the greatness, I should say. And that's with Miller Lites. For decades, Miller Lite has been providing both of the great feeling of less calories, less filling, and all the great quality of delicious, refreshing Miller Lite. And with Miller Lite, we are fortunate to have at our events, have here in the office, be able to share with you guys. and get you the opportunity to make sure we're always drinking Miller Lite. Lots has changed over the years, but not with Miller Lite. They've done a tremendous job of still giving you the best thing about an original light beer. That's that great taste. That's that less filling, less calories with Miller Lite. And with Miller Lite, you have a chance to make sure that you are enjoying the moments, watching the Phillies game, hanging out, getting the last minute trips in for the conclusion of the summer. Maybe you're going out for Labor Day weekend, whatever it is you're doing. When you're enjoying a nice, refreshing Miller Lite, you know you're getting Miller Lite. That's going to help you have fun. It feels great. I love the fact that it's less filling and the fact that it's less calories. The original light beer since 1975, Miller Lite keeps it simple, and they strip away everything you don't need, providing you with what matters most. A light beer that tastes like beer, that's less filling and only 96 calories. You don't ever have to choose between what's best, because with Miller Lite, it's both. Great taste and less filling. It always tastes like Miller time. And you can also get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. I've been telling everybody, get Miller Lite delivered to your door. Shop conveniently, and they will be able to deliver to your door when you visit MillerLite.com/PHLY Phils, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Again, 96 calories per 12 ounces, fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer. And also, as we're talking about what's great and never having to choose what's best, you know what's best for the Phillies? Ranger Suarez.
Oh, well, I was going to say.
Happy birthday, Ranger
happy
Suarez.
birthday, Ranger. Before we get to the positive of Ranger, can we just wipe the poo slate clean with Taijuan Walker? And then we'll get to the positives, because after him was two positives, okay. Ranger and Kolby. Yeah. We do have to just touch on it because Rich Hoffman, yeah, we do. All
right, let's talk about the bad.
Because Rob was asked about it after the game.
And you know what? A great part of what made this weekend fantastic, as we talk about the response back, was Friday was crap. Yes. Friday was frustrating. It made you want to throw the remote at the TV. And then Ranger came back out and reset the tides and reminded us why the Phillies had the best starting pitching in baseball. Yeah. Taijuan Walker might be struggling. Last year, he was an innings eater. He was a guy you can count on. That was his role as a fifth starter.
Now it's over.
He is not an innings eater. The future of his career here in Philly is up in the air, because he went out Friday night and showed it wasn't just the blister. Taijuan Walker's pitching this season has not been good, Jamie.
No, it's been terrible. And we'll show a graphic here momentarily that Taijuan Walker, here it is, was throwing absolute batting practice on Friday night. Renee, 4 balls almost in a row hit over 104 miles an hour off of the bat. He was getting shelled. Those bottom dark blue ones, that's pretty much the bottom 1% of baseball. He and Rich Hoffman, and if you haven't signed up for Rich's email, please do so, because it's absolutely awesome. Daily newsletter right to your email inbox, and it's free. You don't even have to be a diehard, but sign up for it. Rich focused a little bit on Taijuan today, Renee, and this is what he pointed out. Last year, his hard hit rate was 40.9%, which is by no means good, but survivable. Now it's 50%. That's really bad. His expected ERA last year, 4.36. This year, 6.69. And his barrel percentage, close your eyes, cover your ears, was 6.8% last year, which is, I guess fairly manageable. This year, more than doubled, up to 14.2% in baseball. Taijuan Walker is terrible. He is cooked. A lot of these hard hit balls weren't even from the splitter. They were just on the fastball. It's got to be deflating for that locker room to go out there on Walker nights at this point. It's really, really bad. And after the game on Friday, I think it was Matt Gelb, or maybe it was Zalecki, whoever it was. They said, is Taijuan going to make his next start? And Rob said, I don't know. I was encouraged by his uptick in velocity. We haven't thought about that. I haven't talked to anybody about that. That means they've talked about it. Mm-hmm. I would imagine they talked about it before the game and said something along the lines of, I don't know, Renee, if he goes out there and gets barreled 15% of the time, we can't continue to play this guy. Yeah. I don't think they're going to do it, but you can't rule it out. 2 years, $36 million after this, but he's detrimental to the team at this point.
He is. And when you have a pitcher that's giving up as much as Taijuan Walker is, it is very deflating for the team because you're starting to see the starting pitching round out. You got Ranger back this weekend. Even Kolby Allard looks solid on Sunday. They've been working through what could be a 6-man rotation. But then you have Taijuan Walker, who is the odd man out, and he sticks out like a sore thumb. And when you talk about the numbers, an awful start to the season. May, he kind of settled in with a 4.78 ERA. June was 5.75. That's when we started to see it felt like Taijuan Walker was overextended and was pitching more innings than he was ready to pitch, because that's coming out of what was his IL stint that he returned back and was pitching 6 innings pretty consistently. You could see as the game progressed, he actually was getting worse. And then as each game went on, he was getting worse. So game to game, he was decreasing. His velocity was dropping. His splitter was not there. And it just felt like they kept trying to push him to pitch 6 innings, because at that time, Rangers, Zach, Aaron, Christopher were all pitching 6, 7, 8 innings, complete games. But Taijuan Walker has not been able to keep up. And then returned back this time around from the inflammation on the finger. And in the 11 2/3 innings that he's pitched in August, to have a 9.26 ERA for the month, he's given up 16 hits in August since his return. Taijuan Walker has been bad. And what makes it even worse is the starting pitching has been good this season. Now, of course, as of late, they've dropped off. And I say that with air quotes because it's a definite drop-off to how they started the season. But when you look at how well, we're talking Zach Wheeler and Cy Young conversations. We're talking Ranger Suarez, an all-star. Christopher Sanchez, an all-star. Aaron Nola, getting back to what we need Aaron Nola to be. Where does Taijuan Walker fit in with this group? Now, we know he's not a playoff guy, but you cannot continue to lose games the regular season behind him. And
I'm curious what they do here.
A Kolby Allard, or, they have Tyler Phillips maybe. There's not great options, but unfortunately, I think you might take your chance on them versus Taijuan. I know John Peace, I want to just give a shout out. The chat has made a comment earlier that Alec Boehm should have had Taijuan throw to him at the home run derby.
Seriously.
At this point, that might be the best thing he's useful for.
And don't even give me meatballs. Just go out there and pitch your normal
just pitch
self,
regular. Try to throw strikes.
No, it's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think they're going to DFA him yet, but they have shown in the past, in the Dombrowski era, they have DFA'd some guys. So it's not completely out of the question. This would be the most expensive one. I expect him to probably give it another 2 or 3 starts before they do something drastic. Like you said, he's not going to be on the playoff roster. When he first returned back from, the knee injury, I guess it was, whatever the injury was early in the season. I think it was the knee. I think it was his knee. It was a leg injury. When Taijuan first returned back, I remember us having the same conversation of how many games, how many innings do you give him? How much time do you give him to really settle back in? He never settled back in. He actually was getting worse progressively. Yeah. So this stint around, and he wasn't great in his rehab assignments. I mean, we were keeping track of the progression. It wasn't fantastic. The last one, of course, was the best one, but not where you want him to be for what the Phillies are pitching at this season. And he's not an innings eater, not throwing strikes. So what is he actually doing? Giving teams runs at this point. So very, very concerning. Yeah, last year, at least the team would overcome his starts.
Which is why he was the first starting pitcher to 15 wins.
Yeah, and now it's like they can't really overcome his starts anymore. So there's just no point in doing it. It would take some kind of brass ones to DFA him at this point, but the roster does expand here coming up September 1st. Yeah. The problem is you don't really have anyone worthy of this spot.
No one's ready.
Like Tyler Phillips got shelled. Competent Kolby Allard looks like he's probably here to stay, at least for a little bit. Michael Mercado kind of got shelled his last 2 or 3 starts. Rich actually pointed this out in his email. It's a shame Mick Abel had such a disappointing year in Lehigh. This would be his time. Because if he had kind of shined a little bit this year, this would have been a perfect spot to bring him up for 2 to 3 spot starts, give him a little taste of Major League Baseball. But you're not going to do that. Like, there's just no really good answer to replace Taijuan. So maybe they give it to a Mercado and an Allard here in the month of September. I don't know, but I would imagine Taijuan at least gets probably 1 to 2 more starts before something drastic happens.
Yeah,
that's just a guess.
Well, looking at the schedule, the way they're going to try to work the rotation moving forward, I think that it'll space out enough with Kolby Allard in the rotation for a 6-man rotation that you can space out the Taijuan Walker starts, of course, because Rob's getting everybody an extra day rest, and we need an extra day rest from Taijuan. But I do feel like
need a permanent rest from Taijuan.
Definitely rest from Taijuan.
It's not me, it's you.
It's definitely you, Taijuan. And it's worse because of the fact that the Phillies have also been struggling offensively. Now, obviously, 22 runs between Saturday and Sunday is starting to feel like a glimpse and a step in the right direction. But when you look at the Braves series, for instance, the starting pitching did their job, and you still are losing games. So you can't then have a starting pitcher out there that's not doing his job, because that's a recipe for disaster. You have to basically count on your starting pitchers to consistently, at this point, it feels like, give up 3 or less runs in a game, and the offense could go from there. So
that would be a great start from Taijuan. 3
that
or
would
less.
be a fantastic start.
Yeah.
We're not getting that from Taijuan. So it's like, can you give up 3 or less runs in one inning, please? Because right now you're opening the game with like 20 plus pitches in the first inning.
That Salvador Perez shot, like, woo.
Oh, and guys, too, like you were bringing up last year how they were able to survive Taijuan Walker starts.
Most times.
Here's the difference. He made 31 starts last year. He posted a 4.38 ERA. If your 5 has a 4.3, 4.4 ERA, you can live with that, because that's basically saying, right, you're giving up 4 to 5, somewhere between 4 and 5 runs a start. But if you are consistently out here, this guy, he's got a 6.2 now. If you're consistently out here saying he's giving up 6 or 7 per start, it doesn't help. His walk rate is up from 3.7 to 3.9. Not a massive jump, but it is a jump. His strikeout rate is actually, it's up per 9, but a very small amount. His home runs per 9 is the biggest jump. Last year, he gave up about a home run per 9 innings pitched. This year, he is giving up 2.4 home runs per 9 innings pitched. His strikeout per walk ratio is down to 1.89, which is the second worst of his major league career. The only time that was worse was a 1.8. You know how many games he started in 2018? 3. The point being, this is definitively Taijuan Walker's worst statistical season of his career. It's not particularly close, and you're to a point now where, like you guys were saying, you can't even trust the guy.
No, I mean, when you got shelled like that, 107 miles an hour, like 5 guys in a row, or 104 and higher, like that's batting practice. Like, he is going out there and throwing batting practice. And now, we'll get to the positive on the other side, like the way the team reacted to Ranger as opposed to the way, I don't know, it's just like a defeated kind of, I don't know that they feel this, but watching them in Taijuan starts, it just feels like
we feel it.
We know we need to go score 7-8 runs, and that's a hard thing. You start pressing a little bit. Maybe you try to change the game on one swing. Whatever it is, he has a negative effect on this team.
Yeah, and we feel it as we're watching the game. He feels it.
He's probably questioning, am I done?
Yeah, everybody feels it, because the numbers don't lie. He's doing awful. He's pitching lollipops out there, and he's giving up runs, and he's also just like, at this point, you can't even put him out there. You don't ever want your ERA to be around the same number as your height. 6'4", height, 6'2", 6 ERA.
He's a big man. That's a big ERA.
He's a big man, but your ERA should not be matching your height, because that's not good. But you know where you could get something to match your style and your swag? That's with our friends over at Shady Rays, because you do want to find some great premium polarized sunglasses that can match your style. And with Shady Rays, they are an independent sunglasses company that provides you with hundreds of options to choose from. And they have different colors and different styles, whatever you're looking to pair your sunglasses with for the season. Maybe it's to match your favorite teams. Maybe it's to match a specific outfit, first day of school fit, whatever it is. Shady Rays has quality shades built to last. And our friends at Shady Rays have you covered. And if you don't believe us, believe the over 300,000 people that have given them 5-star reviews, because Shady Rays has the quality, the durability, and they provide the great customer service. If at any point you find yourself, maybe you lose your sunglasses, you break them, you want to exchange them, Shady Rays also has the protections in place to make sure you can get a new pair right away exchanged to be able to rock your favorite pairs of shades. So over at Shady Rays, again, what I like is they're sleek, they're durable, great frames, they look fantastic. They've got all different makes and models for you for whatever. I feel like everybody's face has a different shape that works well with sunglasses. Well,
yeah.
Shady Rays has hundreds of options to find the pair that fits your face. And exclusively for our listeners today, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. You can head to shadyrays.com, use code PHLY, and get 35% off your polarized sunglasses. Try them for yourself. Again, the shades that are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Hey, head over to shadyrays.com, use code PHLY, and get 35% off of your pair of sunglasses at Shady Rays.
Yeah, and let me tell you about one of our new sponsors here that I absolutely love. RuggedRoadOutdoors.com. That's Rugged Road Coolers. Now, a couple years ago, before I even heard about Rugged Road and what they were, I was gifted one of those very expensive coolers that weighs like 85 pounds. I never bring it anywhere because it's a pain in the ass to carry. The thing is so heavy. And the beauty about Rugged Road is it gives you that same great insulation and cooler needs, but it's actually lightweight and transportable. Rugged Road is dedicated to creating innovative and durable outdoor gear for adventurers who demand the best. The products are designed with the highest quality materials and craftsmanship, ensuring they perform in the toughest conditions. Whether you're on the land or water, Rugged Road gear is built to accompany you on every adventure. They float. That's a great aspect if you're a lake, a mountain person, even down the shore off the bay. You want to jump off the dock, a pool, whatever it is, they float. That's great. They're lightweight, like I talked about. The design, it stands out from their competitors because it's actually mobile. You can pick it up and move it without 3 people carrying the thing around. It's durable and dependable, and of course, it's versatile. It's built for all outdoor activities, from fishing and tubing to tailgating. These coolers are designed to meet the needs of every outdoor or sports enthusiast. So gear up for your next adventure with Rugged Road Coolers. Reliable, durable, and built to be used. Rugged Road is your ultimate outdoor companion. Head to RuggedRoadOutdoors.com and use code PHLY for 10% off.
All right. Well, as we are wiping the slate clean of the bad pitching we saw Friday, let's usher in
That was really it, right?
Oh, hi, Tyler. Let's usher in
What is happening?
Hi, Tyler. All right,
Let's bring in Tyler.
Hi. I don't know what's happening with my computer right now.
This is awesome. I can't wait to watch the panic in your eyes
This
as you
just
figure it out.
absolutely freaked out on me. Let's try this. There we go.
There we go.
you are.
All right, and we're back.
This
and
is
so
what happens when you try to do a
Ranger
million
Suarez.
things at once. You end up
multitasking
Yeah, it's
fail.
bad.
But
But
let's
that was it.
usher
That was the
in-
only negative of the weekend, right? Was Taijuan?
Yeah, no, seriously.
That was it.
And a positive, we get Ranger Suarez back. His first start since July 22nd, as he was dealing with that lower back soreness. We were constantly watching him ramp up his bullpens. His pitch count was getting higher. He was on a pitch count on Saturday. And to see him come out there Saturday and look sharp. He was the Ranger that we adore. He was calm, cool, and collected. He did have a rough patch in the 5th. Was able to work through
My
that.
boy was tired.
And he was. I mean, it's been
tired.
since July 22nd. And even prior to that, he was dealing with some back spasms and everything as well. So in his 5 innings, we saw Ranger give up just the 1 run on 4 hits. 4 hits. Struck out 6, walked 1, and ended the night with 72 pitches, 46 for strikes. And great to see him. He was like, he always, every time they interview him, he's like, I'm just doing my job. I'm just happy to be able to contribute.
Well,
I'm
Ricky
just
made
happy to
the
be able to
point
contribute to a
after
win.
the show, on the post-game show, on the broadcast of, and I think this is true because we've always called him our sweet boy Ranger. He has like that aura and positivity, and like to the opposite of Taijuan.
Complete opposite.
When he walks in the clubhouse on a Ranger start day,
Yeah.
I think the team feeds off of like his positivity. I think he's a big pick-me-up for that clubhouse. And I think heading into the playoffs, he's the ultimate X factor on this team. If Ranger can go back to being what he was in the first half, then all of a sudden this team can compete with anybody in Major League Baseball, assuming the offense is, back. But Ranger was great for a first start back to calm the nerves of, is he going to look like injured Ranger or pre-injured Ranger? He had 1 hard hit ground ball all Saturday night and 1 hard hit fly ball. So he had 2 hard hit balls all night. 72 pitches. Tyler and I talked about it Friday night. He was probably going to be on like an 80 pitch count for his first return. Probably got a little tuckered out before then. But, he kind of battled through it there. And Caleb Cotham came out and said, you're going to finish this inning. I'm just here to buy you some time. Let's take a deep breath and get out of this. And he got through 5, and he was great. It was exactly what you wanted to see.
It was great. It was nice to see. And then we saw Kolby Allard continue that on
Confident
Sunday.
Kolby. What do you think?
Yeah, I like it.
That Rich called him that in the morning newsletter.
The thing about the nicknames for the Phillies is, like I've said before, they clearly need to consult us because you can't just slap a Y on everybody's name. Stubby,
he's already
Alvy,
Kolby.
Hoffy. Like, everybody can't just be a Y at the end. Stoddy actually does work, but it's too many. The nicknames are all the same. So, yeah.
Confident Kolby.
Confident Kolby's a good one.
4 starts in a row that this guy's giving you a chance to win a game versus some tough opponents. I believe it was Seattle, the Guardians.
And the Braves?
Maybe, yeah, I think you're right.
He got
Braves and now the Royals. So it's not like he went out there and played, the Marlins, the Nats, and some other bad teams, and you feel good about it. He's gone out there and battled for you. So it looks like, at least for the near future, Kolby's here to stay.
And Kolby Allard made his first start in 17 days. That's a pretty. I like the fact. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Kolby Allard came out there ready to go. Did give up 8 hits, struck out 5, and of course the 2 solo home runs to Bobby Witt Jr., who a lot of people have given up home runs to Bobby Witt Jr., as well as Garcia, but for Michael Garcia. But for Kolby Allard, the Phillies are in search for a 5. As we've been hearing and they've been alluding to, they are going to roll out the 6-man rotation as well. So if Allard is continuing to show, we don't need Ranger, Zach, Aaron, Christopher level pitching. We just need you to not be as bad as Taijuan and get in and out of. It's a very low bar. Get through 5 innings, I would say, as the number 5 or 6.
Yeah, 5
get through
saves
5
your
innings.
Bullpen.
Saves the right, and then minimal damage of like a few
if you're going
runs.
out after like 3 2/3 or whatever it was on Friday night from Taijuan, like you're cooking a bullpen.
Correct.
So if Kolby can go out there and give you 5 every time, you kind of just need 4 guys ideally, and you can manage that. But if you're going out in the 4th or 3rd inning, you're killing the team for the upcoming days. So Kolby's been great, and I kind of want to see a couple more starts out of this kid. He's been giving the team a chance, and that's all you can really ask for.
That's all you want to see. And so for the Phillies now, they've won 6 of their last 10. Again, they split the 6-game road series, so they have now won their 3rd series, or the road trip, excuse me. They've won their 3rd series since the All-Star break. And with that, we also got the breakout of Bryson Stott was 4 for 4 on Saturday. We saw Trey Turner go 3 for 5.
Oh, Rich
Marsh
had this
was
in
another
the
one.
email. The 7 through 9 hitters, I think by his count, where the hell did I put it? Here we go. Rich pointed this out. The Phillies 7 through 9 hitters went 18 for 38 with 8 extra base hits and 3 walks throughout the series. So that's, Brandon Marsh needed that. Stott needed that. Like, the guys needed a pick-me-up, and they got it.
Oh, that was huge. And honestly, JT Realmuto's first home run Saturday really opened things up, and that's something that, like, was talked about post-game. Even Trey was mentioning the different guys of just that, like, exhale that you could feel from the team. That was their first home run in 6 days. And they had just been obviously struggling. I already read they had 0 against the Braves. Have been struggling to just have that big play, have that, moment of just cheering and excitement and not squeezing out RBIs. And so it was great to see not only the home runs, but also just the contribution 7 through 9. You got to see Trey Turner have a solid weekend. So overall, a good feeling heading into the start of this series because now they get to go up against the Houston Astros. And it's a nice, I don't, do you look at this as like, it's the 2022 World Series rematch? I mean, it's been
it does
a season
enter
in between,
my mind.
but like, technically, yes, it is. But the Houston Astros are coming off of splitting a 4-game series. Your favorite,
it's not revenge.
Jamie.
I mean, they won a World Series.
No, it's not revenge.
We didn't.
Correct. Like,
but
and it's been a while.
You bastard. Well, because the Astros are a highly hateable team, from the cheating scandal to just never not being a pain in the ass, apparently. A very hateable team, and it's easy to hate them. And so, it's not revenge for 2022, but I do hate the Houston Astros and Money Mac. That's stupid old man.
I know.
Don't come back to Citizens Park.
Yeah, I think the Astros are one of those teams that everybody.
He's like at a Marlins man level.
You will
of
never
annoyance
get
for me.
over them. Yeah, you'll never get over the cheating. You'll never. I mean, and they even have had some issues this year. Ronald Blanco, one of them that got caught with sticky stuff. So the Astros are coming off a 4-game series with the Orioles, your favorite, against Baltimore this past week, and they were on a 7-game road trip of their own, and they stay on the road because they're now going to face the Phillies at Citizens Bank Park. So coming off of a 6-3 win on Sunday, they had a couple of home runs. They are top in the AL West by 4.5 games over the Seattle Mariners. And now the Phillies get a nice matchup against the Astros. It's Zach Wheeler on the mound tonight. We love the fact that the Phillies have been doing a good job with their rotation. And you look at this matchup, beautiful.
Look at
that.
That's
graphic.
Fancy.
Zach Wheeler with his 12-6 record. He's got a 2.76 ERA on the season. Goes up against Ronel Blanco. Used to be on my fantasy team, but then I cut him because he cheated. He's 9-6 with 3.14 ERA. And then game 2, it's Aaron Nola with his 3.45 ERA against Justin Verlander, who actually is now on my fantasy. This is on my fantasy team on the right side, who's 3.92 ERA.
Welcome to Renee's fantasy baseball team
And then
breakdown.
Christopher Sanchez, our favorite, Sanchez, they call him, 9-9 on the season, a 3.91 ERA, going up against Spencer Adegetti, who's got a 6-11 record, a 4.94 ERA. And with this rotation, I love this graphic. With this rotation, this also sets the Phillies up to be able to allow for the next series. Not that I'm jumping ahead too much, but it does make you start to think. It does allow Wheeler and Nola to get starts against the Braves.
And I think you missed Chris Sale in the next series also, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I think we might miss him again, actually, because of timeline. So you get Zach and Nola starting in this series as well as the next series. 2 very crucial series, as we've talked about for the Phillies, because it's a big stretch. You're facing 2 playoff teams, and you're also in, especially, of course, with the Braves, in a position where you want to continue to maintain that lead in the NL East. So for the matchup today against Ronel Blanco, Blanco is making his 25th start. He's got a 1.06 whip. He's got 3.6 walks per 9 and 8.6 Ks per 9 in his innings pitched. He has not pitched against the Phillies this season, or at all, I should say. So I'm excited to see what the Phillies bring out today, especially after 2 great offensive performances, if they can go out and continue that against the Houston Astros.
Yeah, it would be great to see. This is kind of a great matchup for this time of the year. I think there was a little bit of malaise that set over the Phillies that could have contributed to their woes, but you should be fully awake as the calendar approaches September and a team like the Astros comes to town. It's going to be a good series. Justin Verlander recently off the IL. He's always a bear, even though
he's been pitching well. Since he got off the IL.
He's returned pretty well. And Spencer Adegetti, I believe, was their top pitching prospect when he got called up in the beginning of the year. He struggled, got sent back down, came back up. He's been a little bit better since then. But the youngster versus Sanchez, you do like your odds with the pitching matchups. Wheeler is out here competing for a Cy Young versus Chris Sale, and Chris Sale is going to pitch Wednesday. So yes, the Phillies are going to miss him again, which is an added benefit of that series. But Zach Wheeler very much is a live dog in this Cy Young race. So you go out. As Jim joined us last week, he said, these September matchups, these big game matchups can go a long way in MVP and Cy Young voting. So Zach Wheeler, I don't want to make too much of it, but he has a chance to go out there tonight versus a very good pitcher and kind of get that big win. And it could go a long way in the Cy Young race here. And then Nola, please just be Nola. And Christopher Sanchez is home. So Christopher Sanchez is great at home versus a youngster with not a lot of experience. You like the Phillies' advantage in this series a little bit. Astros note, Kyle Tucker still not back from his 3-month shin bruise. They're saying now he's on my fantasy team and we're in the playoffs. Okay, I'm gonna be out and bitter about this because
you bring up your fantasy team.
Kyle Tucker was my best offensive player in fantasy.
Where's Jamie's counter? 0 days since Jamie talked about his fantasy team.
Well, the guy's died or something. 3 months for a shin bruise, and now he's not back until early September. So yeah, I'm a little bit bitter about that, but it's good for the Phillies because they miss Kyle Tucker. He's been great. But yeah, the Astros are no joke. Should be a fun week. Yeah, I'm a little bitter that Kyle Tucker isn't back in the playoffs.
We are.
Hunter Green goes down for me. I lose Correa, and let me just get my injury woes out of the way.
Wow, now Jamie's on the
playoffs, and
so
3 of my best players just abandoned me.
Wow, how does that make you feel?
It makes me sad. Makes me sad.
Bob, looks like our hour's up. That'll be $7,000.
I am happy that my team won the last 7 weeks in a row, 8 weeks in a row, heading in the playoffs, and I passed you in the standings.
Wow, we're tied.
$8,000 now. Every time you mention
and
your
you
team,
are
it's an extra 1,000.
I got the tiebreaker. We will now, guys. Things are heating up not only for the Phillies but for us here with our fantasy teams. It's playoff baseball time. for our fantasy baseball league. All right, that being said, for Zach Wheeler, his only start versus the Astros, April 2023, where he pitched 6 innings in a 6-1 home victory against the Astros. The last start for him was a loss, unfortunately, because the Phillies offense was non-existent. And we saw him in that Braves game. Actually had a good showing in his 6 innings of just giving up 2 earned runs, 6 hits, 8 Ks in that 3-1 loss. Held the Braves to 3, but the Phillies only scored 1. So the math is mathin'. But as you mentioned, it is great because Zach Wheeler's been good at home. He's been solid at 8-3 at home with a 2.40 ERA, a .92 whip. Christopher Sanchez has been his best baseball. His best pitching has been at home. Hopefully you can get Aaron Nola to keep up with that. And the Phillies can, most importantly, maybe start off this series with a series opening win.
It'd
Please.
be nice.
6:40 start tonight. We'll get the official starting lineup hopefully soon.
It's May the Force be with you night down at the ballpark tonight. A little Star Wars evening.
But
you
should
can
it
catch
be
a lightsaber display on the field prior to the game.
Shouldn't it have been a little more in May?
May the 4th.
Not on August 26th?
Well, the May the 4th thing is kind of cliche.
It's super cliche.
So at this point, they're going outside the box and doing it in late August, and that's cool.
Okay. Well,
You know, August the Force be with you.
Yeah.
It makes total sense, right?
May the Force be with you in August.
yeah.
Not
Well,
May the 4th,
as we are
like
in
everyone
August,
else.
I know we're talking.
When they zig, you zag, you know?
Listen, just like Star Wars has in the movies, they're jumping the ship. It's a money thing.
Yeah.
Take all the money you get.
They are, for sure.
Oh, and Mickey Durkin, our resident bobblehead expert, says it's Suarez bobblehead.
It is his birthday today. That totally makes sense.
I might have to pull some strings and get myself a Ranger bobblehead. Excuse me, John Brazier. I need a Suarez bobblehead.
Jamie's going to be down at Citizens Bank Park stealing bobbleheads for some poor child.
Addie's going to be like, why is Ranger Suarez on your nightstand? I'm like, I'm just saying good night to him. Leave me alone.
All right, well, that being said, the Phillies are sitting now 76-54 on the season. They're no longer the best team in the NL as they're still chasing the Dodgers, who have 78 wins in the NL, but they are still sitting nicely 6 games ahead of the Braves because the Braves lost on Sunday. Thankfully, that helped out the Phillies to keep that 6-game lead. And with that, we have also seen some pretty spectacular moments around the league. Starting with the Dodgers, unfortunately.
Kind of some fun stuff happened.
Shohei Ohtani, I was like, what is this man? How is he human? Shohei Ohtani joins the 40-40 club with a walk-off grand slam. That was incredible. It was like, you could not have painted that any better or worse. As a pure sports fan, like taking my Phillies hat off for a second, just a pure sports fan, that was such an incredible moment. A walk-off grand slam to join the 40-40 club, and you have a moment where you just watch the progression as the ball hits off his bat, and everyone's like, slowly rising to their feet.
Yeah,
I may have watched that multiple
that
times.
Game, like that's an announcer's kind of
I may have watched that more than one time.
A walk-off 40-40 grand slam. It was like the perfect storm of
all he was missing was
baseball things.
His wife Renee.
Yeah, well, Shohei Ohtani. They're gonna give him. He's gonna be the first DH MVP, isn't he?
Yeah, now he's like thrown off the mound too. Is it bad that I was like, oh yeah, we haven't even been seeing him pitch with all the great things that he's been doing.
Oh yeah,
he'll
be an NL Cy Young favorite next year.
He's just starting to like throw. They were updating on like his recoveries, like throwing off the mound, and I don't have the exact number of what his bullpen sessions are looking like or anything like that, but he's ramping things up a little bit on the pitching side. I'm like, crap, that's right.
Yeah, he's a freak.
We do have to see him back pitching again.
The other guy who's a freak, Renee.
Yeah.
Hit number 50 this weekend.
He's insane.
Aaron Judge, my goodness. He's statistically having the greatest offensive year in Yankees history. It's wild what this man is doing. Hit 2 over the weekend. He's now at 50. And guess who has the 2 best OPSs in baseball? Anyone?
I know, because I already looked at it.
Could it be Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani?
No.
Oh, it's not.
It's his teammate.
Juan Soto.
Juan Soto and Aaron Judge now possess. Shohei's probably 3rd. I didn't look at the complete updated thing, but they're the 1 and 2 OPS leaders in baseball.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Not a big deal. I mean, the Yankees are literally just carried by Juan Soto and Aaron Judge, and it works. It works for them.
Shohei's 4th.
Oh, what a bum.
Wow.
Who's 3rd? Is that Alvarez?
No, he's 8th.
Is it a surprising 3rd?
No.
It's not Bobby Witt.
It is Bobby Witt.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if he would get up there with the OPS. That's a pretty stacked.
Bobby Witt.
So who's 5, 6, 7 ahead of Alvarez?
Marcell Ozuna,
Yeah.
Rafi Devers, and Vlad Guerrero.
Wow, Vlad's that high. Huh.
I wish we had
Vlad had one of the best
in that
months
list.
of July, like, ever.
Yeah.
Sad.
Well, Tyler, your boy Bobby Witt Jr. Is
Pretty good
fighting
at baseball.
that Aaron Judge guy for AL MVP.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Phillies, they're now 3 games back, and they're starting a series with the Guardians of the team they're chasing. So that's a pretty big series there. That's kind of cool.
That's going to be a fun one to watch because that AL Central race has been very close between the Guardians, the Twins, the Royals, and it's insane that we're talking about the AL Central as like one of the exciting groups to watch. But when you look at the other
preseason wise, Cleveland was like, I mean, I gave out their over as one of my picks, and I think their win total was only 81.
You had them low. You had them low. They're already
they were
at
getting
75.
disrespected. Yeah,
they definitely were.
And then the Royals, people thought like,
name.
okay, the Royals have Bobby Witt Jr. and they spent some money. Maybe they'll turn it. I don't think anybody expected the Guardians and Royals to be this good, really.
No, not at all. Not at all. Another guy that we knew was going to be good, but maybe not this fast, Jackson Merrill. Every time I feel like I hear nonstop, like every game, he's smashing balls out the ballpark.
Yeah, I think he's going to lock up your NL Rookie of the Year here. I saw a stat this morning doing my reading that he has 6 on the year now, 6 tying or go-ahead home runs in the 8th inning or later. So annoying that he's as talented as he is, but he also appears to be pretty clutch too. So Jackson Merrill, probably your NL Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and when you look at the way that the Padres have been playing overall, it actually makes sense. It's very on brand that you have some clutch players that are really stepping up, and Merrill being one of them. And as you talk about those numbers, he's off to an incredible start to the season. 19 home runs on the season and has a .807 OPS. He's been really good. He's been really good and really fun to watch. And then some other news of just some things going on around Major League Baseball. Not really on the field as much, but some history that was made.
This is cool.
Jamie, cool moment in history.
Yeah, the National Baseball Hall of Fame. I think you guys have heard of that. It's in Cooperstown, New York. They tweeted this out earlier today. On this date in history in 1939.
Wow, remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah, it was just the other day. Kids grow up so fast. NBC televised the first Major League Baseball game, a doubleheader between the Reds and Dodgers at Ebbets Field. So, I mean, pretty cool. I can't imagine seeing the first baseball game on TV. Like, your mind had to be blown, right?
We
like,
are so spoiled as a society that we can literally go. I actually now with my cable, I have the ability to not only watch the local stations, I can watch the stations of any market. So I can watch like the LA feed or whatever. And I'm like, who do I want to hear from today? Which broadcasters do I want to hear from if I'm watching like a different game outside the Phillies? But it's insane because there was a time where you only had the prime time game and you did not get to see players every day.
Yeah.
And I know I always hear even like my parents talk
even
about
growing
it.
up, I didn't
like,
watch the AL.
Yeah, my parents
like
talk about it. Like they were like, growing up, you got to see the Sixers once in a while.
Yeah.
And you had to go in person to the game. You had to go down to the box office to get your tickets to go to the game. That's not that long ago. And now we have games on every channel. You have all these different camera angles, different broadcasters, different feeds. You can listen on the radio. You can listen on, like, it's just wild.
Seth F. chimes in with the history fact. And 3 days after that, Germany invaded Poland.
Oh, 1939.
Wow. Yeah, a couple other things
Puts
before we get out of here.
where we were.
Yeah, seriously. The number 2 pick in last year's draft, LSU stud Dylan Cruz, is joining the Nationals tonight for his MLB debut. The Nationals continue to trot out a slew of talented youngsters. Hashtag free herb, Renee. The White Sox just made some more history, kind of. Almost the best. But the second fastest team in the modern era of Major League Baseball to reach 100 losses.
Yeah, hashtag free herb. 31 and 100 on the season, which is a .237 win percentage.
Poor Herb.
That's awful. And you don't know how many games back there are just to add to salt to that?
Actually, yeah.
44 and a half games
God.
back as we talk about the excitement of the AL Central. You also have the disastrous season of the Chicago White Sox. 44 and a half games back is
Do you think Herb
terrible.
knows we talk about him as much as we do?
I don't know. I wonder if his ears start ringing a little bit. Like every time I say hashtag
Herb.
free herb or
Do you guys
something.
want to know how long it's been since a team finished 44 or more games back in a division?
Yes, I do, Tyler.
Why don't you take a guess?
How
how many
find
years?
This stat?
Yeah. 44 or more games back.
The Phillies.
There had to be somebody really bad around the turn of the century, right?
Well, the Phillies were the worst team.
22 years.
Ever. I would say 57 years.
How about 2? Yeah,
Huh?
there
It's
was
only 2?
actually happened twice. The A's finished 60 and 102 the year the Astros won 106. The Nationals finished 55 and 107 the year the Braves won.
So I guess it's a little more common than I thought. Huh. That's bad, though. That's really bad. But yes,
But they might get to 50 by the end of the year. And we haven't had 50. Well, that's actually not true. We've had 50 in 2021.
Yikes. All right. Well, that'll do it for us here as we are wrapping up here on PHLY Phillies podcast presented by Bet365. Again, the Phillies taking on the Astros today. 6:40 start with Zach Wheeler on the mound against Ronel Blanco. And guys, let's hope for a win as we wrap this show up. And hopefully they can kick off this series victorious, which is something we haven't seen them do often. Thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you guys live for more. We've got our Tuesday show, 11 a.m., Wednesday post-game, Thursday we're live in person. And thanks for you tuning in on Roku for our diehards. It's always a pleasure having you. Now, as we wrap up officially, though, for everybody that's still hanging out with us on YouTube and Twitter, just want to remind people, Thursday we have our event coming up. You guys can hang out with us at Top Tomato, and we will be live with our live shows, pregame show, postgame show, and a watch party. We've got some great deals for you. You can get Miller Lite. You can get some yummy dogs and glizzies. We're also going to have some giveaways, some merch, and tickets you guys can win. So come on down to Top Tomato. I know I've got some people I've been telling everybody, tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend to come hang with us at Top Tomato this Thursday for the Braves Phillies series as we get ready to cheer on the Phillies.
$1 beer, $1 hot dogs. Come and get you $1 Miller Lights, $1 hot dogs.
You're so ready for your next career.
I'm trying to think I usually never go over like 2 hot dogs. But that's a bargain.
Hot dogs don't digest, so you really shouldn't go over more than like 3.
I love hot dogs.
They
but
just
the thing
kinda
I
sit
don't
there?
like about hot dogs is you can kind of taste them all day.
Yeah, they just sit there in your stomach.
Yeah,
it's really
so,
bad.
I don't
Even
think
though
I'll
I
go
love
over
hot
2. But if you're if you're up for a $1 hot dog challenge, come on down and
for a challenge, let's do it.
I'll watch you.
I know James Alexander III mentioned he'll be there.
Yeah.
Whoever's there, maybe you can challenge Jamie to a hot dog eating contest.
Nope, I don't go over 2.
Oh,
Maybe 3.
It's not a hot dog eating contest then. It's just eating hot dogs with a friend.
Yeah, I'm just enjoying
my
hot dog.
Well, somebody also is enjoying a Babe Ruth jersey, just to wrap up some other nuggets from around the league. Because
this is wild.
I know you found this incredibly mind-boggling
it's just stupid.
thing. That's Babe Ruth's called shot MLB jersey sold for $24.12 million. What even is that? What does that even look like?
Yeah, I think
Please tell me what that's
is
like.
awesome. Like I get it, but
what
obviously
is that?
you have like billions if you're spending $24 million.
Do you swipe a card? Do you pay cash? Do you write a check? Like, how does one make
direct transfer
a
from my
transaction
Swiss bank?
Of that much?
Yeah, it's just like that's cool, and that guy obviously has enough. I hope that purchaser is doing some good in this world. If you're dropping $24 million on a Yankees jersey, that's gonna just like sit in your man cave. I hope you're paying it forward to.
That's quite a man cave it's sitting in.
Yeah, I don't
no ordinary man cave.
Maybe you put it in your office building or your headquarters or like whatever. But I hope you're paying it forward in this world as well. Spending $24 million on a jersey. That's wild.
I have just so many questions of what that millionaire lifestyle is like. I just don't know that life.
I'm sure it's cool to own that, but like $24 million for a baseball jersey?
Is the Babe. It is the Babe.
Yeah. And then one other thing that's absolutely wild. Major League history is being made tonight. Danny Jansen, the catcher, is becoming the first ever Major League player to compete for both teams in a game today. He was traded to the Boston Red Sox from the Toronto Blue Jays back in June. The game got suspended with him at bat as a Blue Jay. It was scheduled as a doubleheader remake tonight. Mm-hmm. And now Danny Jansen will be on the box score for both the Blue Jays and the Red Sox in the same game, becoming the first ever player to do that. And what's wild is he's actually going to be catching his at-bat.
Correct. I had to, when I first saw...
I had to read it like 3 times.
No,
I was like,
too.
I get it, but like...
Like, when I first saw the news come out and it was like, Danny Jansen making history to become the first player to play for 2 teams, 1 game. I was like, how? How does did it get moved mid-game? And then I had to read it over and over again because, as you mentioned, the layer of complexity that it adds that he not only got traded, then the game got delayed, but also was in the middle of his at-bat. So the guy that has to come in to pinch hit for him is the one that he's going to face now as catcher. You can't make this up.
No, you can't.
You can't make this up. These are the things once in a blue moon that happen. And
Danny Jansen gets to tell people that for life.
Yeah,
hey,
just
I'm the
like
only person
we're talking
in Major
about
League history.
On this day in 1939, there was history made for the first televised game, and now we're also going to get history for the first guy to play for two different teams in one game as that game resumes between the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. That is insane.
Yeah.
So congrats, I think, Danny. I think that's a congrats. I don't even know what you say for that.
It's cool. You get to go in the history books. Yeah, that's the only person to ever do something.
And that's something like that can't happen.
I would tell everybody. I'd be like, hi, I'm Danny Jansen. Do you know I played for both teams on August 26th? Technically in the box score, I was a Red Sox and a Blue Jay. Pretty cool. Buy me a beer.
And hopefully we can hang with you guys and have some beers on August 29th. Again, we'll be down at Top Tomato live for our live show and watch party. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and hanging with us here on PHLY Phillies podcast. As always, it's been a pleasure hanging with you, recapping the weekend, and now looking ahead because the Phillies will go out and win the series opener against the Houston Astros. Should be a great day for some winning baseball down at Citizens Bank Park.
And Jim Salisbury is going to join us tomorrow at 11:30.
Yeah, we'll have Jim back tomorrow, 11:30, recapping the win, talking through the Phillies, and on this Ranger Suarez birthday and Star Wars Day and all the excitement. Have a great Monday. Let's go, Phils. We'll see you guys back here live 11 a.m. for more on PHLY Phillies podcast presented by Bet365. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.